Hello, fellow overthinkers, metalheads, and neurodiverse people alike. Turn it up and let's talk. This is Breakdowns and Breakthroughs. I am Chris.
And I'm Mary.
And someone else is on the podcast, Mary. Who's this?
Yeah, this is Mark. Mark worked with me for a few months.
I did. I had that pleasure.
Yeah, it was great. We became besties, and Mark is a recovery worker, but he's also a counselor. And do you want to tell us a little bit more about what you do at CGL?
Yeah. Okay. So I work on the assessment team. So anyone that comes in, they'll see me first. I ask loads of questions, and I've been doing that for too long. And then as a side hustle, I did a counselling course. I did it first time about 20 odd years ago, and then I redid it about 5 years ago, and then I qualified. And I don't know, I'm just nosy, and I like getting to know people.
Yeah, he's a little bit nosy. He asked me all sorts of questions in the office, like, so how was your childhood for you to act like that?
He's basically asking all the therapist questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I may as well get paid for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
why not?
Yeah.
Don't blame you.
So yeah, that's me.
Yeah. Okay, great. So this episode is called Life Inside of a Noisy Mind. Yeah, so we're going to talk about chaos, ADHD, and recovery. Mark is also specialized in a motivational interview. Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit more about motivational interview?
Okay. The strap line with MI is dancing, not wrestling. You know, it's kind of the idea is how can it be made kind of easier? And I think the thing with MI is it's trying to get the client to take responsibility. We're not the experts, and there's been studies about high rate of burnout in recovery workers. You know, it's just little ways of kind of trying to prevent that from happening. Having a safe space where you can talk about how you're feeling. MI, it's emphasis on the client, and it's like, right, well, what do you want, and how do you get there? As opposed to, well, I think you should do this.
Is this burnout from a client or is this burnout from the motivational interviewer?
Burnout from the staff. Client list at the moment, I think the minimum is like 40, 50. I think it goes up to like 70 or 80. You know, and they're not all complex.
Okay.
There's a lot of complex clients there.
Yeah.
Substance misuse,
Traumas,
mental health. I made an example in a meeting recently. It's kind of like, it's like working in a chip shop. After a while, you start going home smelling of chips.
Yeah.
But after a while, you forget that you smell like chips.
I see. Right.
You become used to it. But then everyone else is like, you really smell of chips. You know, you really are struggling with what you're working with.
So, yeah, I can kind of imagine, because when Mari was telling me when she was working at the same place,
pathways.
it didn't really come across that she had so much of a caseload. It didn't sound like you had like 60 people that you had to deal with.
I had 60 to 70 people that I had to deal with. Yeah.
That's mental. I can understand where the burnout comes into play now, especially for the staff. Yeah, that's a lot of people to contend with.
It's like spinning plates, you know, and after a while, you kind of can't keep spinning all those plates.
No. Well, we do have the tendency, because with substance users, as my experience as a key worker, they have the tendency to sometimes they just disappear and you can't get hold of them. You need to understand that they're in a very vulnerable position. So you need to be very tactical on how you're going to approach the situation.
Yeah, and it's, you know, their life is chaos at times. So we have to accept that they will forget about appointments, or they will prioritize something else. Sometimes people couldn't afford to get into the town centre, you know, couldn't afford the bus fare. All these things we have to kind of take into consideration.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. So now I'm going to move on to a little bit about you, if that's okay. You described your journey with ADHD and everything, ups and downs, rinse and repeat. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So I was diagnosed maybe 5 years ago.
Okay, quite late.
You're quite late, yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't think get it, so because I'd kind of grown up like this, you know. I remember when I was a kid, Mum would stop taking me to school because she said I was a show off.
Thanks, Mum, for the trauma.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And then it was my wife. She said, "You need an assessment. You've got it." So I'll give you an example. I remember this particular time walking down the street, and she's kind of having a conversation, quite an important one, and there was an advert on the big billboard for a double chicken Big Mac, like, and I just looked and I went, "Can you imagine that? Like, that looks horrible." And she was like, "Why did you interrupt what I was saying?" I said, "Because if I hadn't have told you, I'd have forgotten." The reason I got diagnosed is my son was diagnosed with ADHD, and it was like, "You've got everything that he's got." And then I was kind of, "I don't think it's worth it. I don't think I have got it." But my wife was like, "No, you really have.
Okay. So you were diagnosed with ADHD. What changed for you once you got diagnosed?
What changed for me? Well, I got medicated for a start.
Okay.
I think kind of knowing that, all right, you're not like stupid, you're not thick, you're not bad, that helped.
Yeah. You're
And
not
then,
lazy or anything. Yeah, because
you're not negative.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know if it's always been the case, but they talk about it. Oh, it's a superpower.
I fucking hate that. Honestly, when people say it's a superpower, ADHD, Instagram and TikTok illness, everybody wants ADHD because, oh my God, I'm so hyperactive. I want to go around and clean my flat. Oh, ADHD is my superpower. Yeah, come on, man. Who wants a superpower where you coming to work or you do something and you are productive and then the next day you're burnt out? Who wants a superpower where you're constantly forgetting what you're supposed to be doing in life? What's a superpower where you have lack of motivation? Who wants a superpower where you've got lack of sleep? I mean, can you imagine what that superhero is going to be called? Useless man or woman. It's just
or don't ask him to do it, man or woman.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just I really hate it when people say ADHD is my superpower. It really, really grates on me.
But I agree. I mean, I often think it's said by people who haven't got it. You're right, Chris. It's kind of, it's not a superpower, is it?
It's definitely
being, having a list of 10 jobs that need to be doing and just looking at it and staring at it and,
Yeah. So why do many people go through life not realizing that they have ADHD? What do you think? Do you think it's a little bit sneaky?
No. I think, like I said earlier, a lot of adults are getting it now because they were missed at school. You were just called lazy or naughty.
Yeah.
When I left school with one GCSE, and I don't remember ever being told about colleges or anything like that. It was kind of factory fodder. One of the reasons I thought I didn't have ADHD was because I like reading. I love reading. And it was like, well, how can I have ADHD? Because I can concentrate on a book. But then it's kind of, I'll read a book, but sometimes I did struggle remembering everything about the book.
Yeah.
And then later on in life, I started a degree, and I was struggling sometimes with textbooks because if it doesn't grab me, I'm struggling. Yeah.
Yeah.
And textbooks sometimes are dry.
I've got issues similar. I mean, I struggle reading. I can't read a full page of a book because I know that if I start reading the full page, by the time I get to the bottom, I've forgotten what's happened by the time I've got there. I need to reread that full page. When I'm at work as well, there's projects that I'm on where the clients that I'm working for will send fucking essay emails. And I would just look at that email and I'd be staring at it like, none of this is going in. I can't make any fucking sense of this.
Yeah.
Luckily AI, which would like summarize now, which is a good solution for people with ADHD for reading massive emails. But it's a massive struggle reading for me.
I think because what I would do is I would get an email and I would start reading it. And then if I'd assume I knew what it was going on about in the first couple of lines, and then I'd not read it. And the amount of times where I'd miss vital information because I'd just not read the email.
Same.
I mean, I'm not cured. I'm on medication, but I still have days where people say, "Are you all right?" Because I'm just manic.
Oh, I'm not medicated.
Right.
I'm going, well, I was, but then I stopped taking it, but I'm going through for the means of getting back on the medication now. I'm going back through my right to choose providers to get the medication, because the medication is not available on the NHS according to my GP. So when I get it, I'm hoping that my productivity at work will be a lot better.
Yeah, and it's not consistent though. I can have a top up as well. I could be okay at work, and I'm better. There was stuff that I wouldn't do at work that I was supposed to do because I just couldn't concentrate on it.
Yeah,
I just couldn't. So what's the point? And I'd avoid it. There's lots of processes in my job, and pre-ADHD, oh God, it used to drive me up the wall. But I wouldn't do it. And that would feed into this, well, you're bad, you're naughty.
Yeah.
I'd love to see if there's anything between ADHD and low self-esteem, because I would really beat myself up a bit,
There probably is a correlation.
Because there's a battle between what I want and what I can do,
Go on to that battle then. So many people think that ADHD is obviously like just being distracted. I mean, for me, I've mentioned this before on social media and stories, that it's like having multiple browser tabs open in my mind. And Spotify is open on 4 of them, and 4 songs are playing on. So how would you describe the noise in your head to someone who has a quiet mind, to someone who is neurotypical?
Organised chaos. At work, like you were going on about tabs, at work, I think I'll have about 15 tabs open, and I know all of it, and I need that. I think I've got used to because I've come to kind of know myself, and I am just chaotic. Have you ever seen The Fifth Element, the film?
Yeah.
The taxi drivers in kind of in midair, and there's so many bloody planes and cars and everything. That's what it'd be like. There was more than one crash, you know what I mean? To kind of step into someone else's mind, just to see if it's as chaotic as mine,
That
Step into
was
Mary's.
super awesome. Mine.
No.
Because you both think that I have ADHD. I haven't been diagnosed.
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever get medication for it, because I think I can deal with life the way I've been doing for 41 years. But again, maybe my ADHD comes from trauma, isn't it? Because it's possible to get it from trauma, isn't it?
Potentially, yeah.
What do you think?
Well, the first part of that, I think that is you saying, I can do it. I can do it. And I think if other people in your life are saying, have you ever thought you got ADHD? So obviously they've noticed it either because they've got it themselves, or they see that some of your behaviours because of the ADHD. Because I felt like that. I felt, well, no, what's the point? I'm 54 this year, so I was well into me. It was 40s, like late 40s when I got diagnosed, and it's like, well, what's the point?
I mean, if those 30 years, you don't know you're going to be alive for another 30, you might be even more, but it's going to be a quieter mind for you, even if you are on the medication. You don't really want to be living the hectic life all the way into your pensioner years, do you? I want, just for your own mental health, really.
Yeah, and I'm a cynic. I was like, well, they're just trying to sell me. They just want to give me drugs. But now, thank God for the drugs.
Yeah,
because I have seen a big change in me. I work a lot smarter than I used to. I know it's more easily recognisable, and I go, well, I need to pull back on this one. I'm snappy. I'm tired. I mean, I'm not tired. I'm exhausted. Like
Burnout does that to you, yeah.
Yeah.
Getting home from work and going straight to bed.
Yeah. The thing with me, I'm quite organised. I don't have difficulties organising my workload and all that.
Chris, she's not though, is she?
She's definitely not 100% organised. Organisation and being punctual go hand in hand. So technically, no, you're not organised. I'll be at home at 1:30 the so-and-so hour, and then you get there at that time and nobody's there.
Very rare.
Yeah, you're late for everything else.
When it comes to you, Chris. But yeah.
Boundaries as well,
Well, yeah, the boundaries is something that I need to work on, and that's something I've been working on.
But I think that could be an ADHD. That can be an ADHD thing.
Yeah.
I've got a very perverse sense of humour.
We too.
Yeah.
That's why we got along so well.
Yeah, and there's no filter with me.
We're not
it's
censoring or filtering anything on this show either.
Everyone always says, "Oh, Mark's got HR on speed dial," and I think that that's kind of, I don't know. I think that is I think that's a coping mechanism that I've developed to deal with the ADHD. Be light-hearted about it, but also as a part of the ADHD, I just have no filter.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I definitely overshare. I overshare all the time.
Oh,
That is a big thing with me. Sometimes I just go and talk about myself, and then it's just like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that.
That comes down to the no filter thing. And Mark, you mentioned earlier on about the masking. Do you mask at work a lot?
I mask with clients.
Yeah,
but
not with colleagues. No.
Well, with some. It's like I feel very privileged in a way because of the nature of work we do. And because we've known each other for a while, there's none of that. Oh, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I used to work with someone, and if you said you were fine, she'd say, "What? Fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional." You know, and it's like, yeah. So
I'm using that, by the way.
Yeah, it's good. You know, so I am lucky in that we look after each other. You know, and that's not. You know, we get people who leave, and I say, "Oh, how are you getting on?" This isn't the same. Just not the same. You know, they don't care like you lot did. You know.
Okay.
So I'm all right. So in that way, I am quite lucky.
Yeah, it's a good team to work with. Everybody is very understanding, isn't it? Because of the line of work that we do.
But utilise a team. I think it's important to work as a team because I'm going to have days where I'm not at my best. You're not at the races, and the team, because they know me, because I'm open and honest with them, they know that I'm not taking the piss, and they'll kind of cover for me.
How do you deal with managing a team? I'm a director level at my company, right? And I mean, I struggle masking a lot of times.
I'm not a manager.
No, all right.
No, I couldn't do that. Okay. I can't manage myself. No.
Well, neither can I.
No. I've always, I want to be a part of a team. I think it's so important to work as a team, give your best. I used to think that ADHD was similar in a way. There's the me that's ADHD, and then there's the me that's supposed to be a professional, or there's the me that's supposed to be a disciplinarian.
Yeah.
And I try and fit those caps on. But do you know what I mean?
I do. Yeah, it does make perfect sense because I will have like a mature and immature Chris. So my immaturity will come out at stages, and that is me not masking. That is Mary's seen it. I just make weird noises a lot of the time.
All the time.
All the time. And then when I'm at work, even though I'm supposed to be in like an environment at work, there are still times where I've been mature, but then all of a sudden it's like my hide is coming out. I'm Jekyll, but then I just be like, meh. And then all of a sudden something, the hide would just like come into play, and I'd be like making silly noises at my desk. And I think people around me just now have just got used to it. I am the goofy one. I'm also the guy that opens his mouth when he shouldn't do. I'm also the guy that just makes jokes at inappropriate times. Like a project could be just on proper meltdown, and I'll be making jokes at that project's expense.
Definitely.
Yeah. I do make jokes quite a bit when I'm not supposed to. Okay, so moving on a little bit. So we're going to talk about ADHD and recovery, Mark. And I just wanted to understand if you see a link between ADHD and recovery.
I see a link between ADHD and substance misuse.
Yeah.
I've been saying that for years. I don't know if it's that dopamine hit, it's that instant gratification. I mean, I've had a past, and I remember I used cocaine and I hated it. I didn't like it at all. And I think now it's because when I listen to clients, so they say, cocaine, it doesn't have that same effect on me that it does everyone else. I use it to calm my brain down. Mental health, people have always self-medicated mental health with substances. But I think with ADHD, because the waiting list is so long and there aren't that many ways to get that quick hit, that quick bit of serotonin, you know. So I think it's difficult for people to, if they've got ADHD and they're not medicated, and I'd say it's difficult to get recovery. Not impossible, because you've got to find something that's going to replace that feeling, you know.
So we've got planned in the future an episode on how THC and cannabis would aid ADHD. So
And mental health, yeah.
and mental health. What are your thoughts on that? So it definitely helps me. It definitely helps with the overthinking.
I think you will have some boundaries in place though, won't you? You've got things that you need to place boundaries around. So work, I don't know if you're a parent.
Yes, I am.
And I think with some of our clients, they're not working, they've got no money, they've nothing, that kind of no positives. So they're using the drugs, I think, not just to self-medicate, but to escape our feeling.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the drug that I think is the issue. It's the person that's using the drug. You get people who can have a drink once a week, once a month, and then they can put it down. But then you get someone else, and there's the cliche, one drink's too many, 1,000's not enough. For some people, you know, they can microdose a drug.
That leads to my next question. Why do ADHD brains sometimes struggle with things like coping or impulses? Do you have a theory on that?
I think it's just executive functioning. We can't do it. We can't make decisions, lateness, or saying inappropriate things, or leaving a list of 10 jobs because you don't know which one to do. Before I was diagnosed, I just look at this list and I just freeze. You know, one of them to-do lists that you can get at work.
I can't even write them. I've covered this before on a previous episode, and I keep getting told by my higher ups, you're a director, you need to have a to-do list. My to-do list for the past 20 years that I have been working at this company is here. My filing cabinet is here. And sometimes I forget things, but most of the time it works. It's organized chaos, but it works in a way. But you tell me to write all of this stuff down that's in my head onto a piece of paper, and I get overwhelmed. I can't do that.
Yeah.
It's impossible for me to do that.
Yeah, I think a piece of paper for someone with ADHD is useless. It needs to be a living, multi dimensional thing.
Yeah.
You know, a piece of paper, sometimes it's like you can't do what you want
Too flat
in your
for
head.
you.
It's not three-dimensional.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Multiverses.
Yeah. I was thinking of something else then as well.
And that's another trait for ADHD as well. People forget really quickly what you're going to say, isn't it? Okay, so last question on the recovery. What patterns do you see in people in support? Patterns of behaviors with ADHD, or maybe with depression, or, a mental health. Is there any pattern that you see in between the service users?
It's like, this is why, despite the stress, despite the risk of burnout, despite the risk of going home smelling of chips, this is why I do it every day, because I love it, and it's different every single day. For every client that takes the piss, there's one that wants it. So is there a pattern? I think they've been forgotten. They've been kind of marginalised. So I see someone who's not been heard and, want them to discover their voice again. I see people who maybe aren't able to cope, and do these things, take the easy way out. I'm not part of any fellowships or anything like that, but
no,
kind of they talk about live life on life's terms, and I think that's what we all have to strive to do. It's like, how do we make sense of this shit? How do we make it normal, or as normal as it can be?
No, I agree. I think that there's a lot of stigma on people that substance misuse. And they've been marginalized. They've seen as like it's their choice to do that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's not really. There's just the way that they found to cope with life, and they need to relearn all that without having to reach for whatever substance they decide to numb their feelings and escape reality, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop running away. Turn around and face it.
Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about chaos, on the chaos angle of the ADHD. You said, you described being ADHD as chaos.
Yeah.
So what does that actually feel like, this chaos on a day-to-day?
I don't know if it is. I don't know if I do feel chaos on a day-to-day anymore.
Not now you're medicated.
No, but I mean, before I was medicated, I'd get told off for not doing stuff. My boss would say, "You've not done this, you've not done that." My wife would say, "You've not done this, you've not done that."
This is why I need medication.
I'd say to myself, "I've not done this, I should have done that." So it's less chaotic now. There's still an undercurrent of bonkersness, but I like my brain. I like a bit of chaos. Yeah.
I've always said that I'm my own best friend in some way, because if I'm alone and I don't have anybody to talk to, I'm talking to myself. A lot of the time, walking around the flat like, "Come on, Chris, what are you doing today?" "Oh, yes, we need to go and do some cooking. Let's go and do some cooking." And then if anyone was in my flat and just looking at me through like a spy hole or something, be like, "What the fuck is this guy talking about?"
I think of that every day from you.
Yeah.
Because
I don't get bored. I don't do bored. There's always something
No, I
to do.
hate being bored. Yeah.
I can't do it. No, I don't get it. I do not get bored.
All right. Okay. No, I get bored. Like
no.
watching
no,
cartoons, kids' cartoons. I'm like, oh, this is boring.
If I do come on to being in the sense of being bored, I will find something to do. I'll go for a walk. I will. I'll open my laptop up and I'll do a bit of work. Or maybe I'll just sit down and chill and watch a movie. But I will not just sit down and just stare and not do anything. I will find something to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It might not be the thing that I'm supposed to do. Like but I will find something to do.
Yeah. It's like, if I've got a list of stuff that I've got to do, I will do all sorts of different stuff, and then I will race to the deadline doing the stuff.
Leave it last minute.
I'm best friends with lastminute.com.
Yes, same. Yeah.
Why do it straight away when you could do something else?
Yeah, something that's not important. I remember when I was this is a thing, when I was doing my Right to Choose diagnosis a few years back. I even left that until the really last minute. I even left it to the point where I had like text messages and emails saying, "We will be cancelling your assessment for diagnosis for ADHD within the next 7 days if you do not do these." And I think I left it until like the final day.
Yeah, and I think I get that. It's either you can't be bothered or it's too nebulous, But everything is lastminute.com. Everything.
I don't have that trait. I am I'm going to do it now before I forget. I don't know if it's because I'm a woman.
Well,
my brain might works a little bit different, and obviously the traits is.
Well, this is the thing, you see, because there's 4 of us in our family. There's me, my wife, and my 2 kids, and my son was diagnosed first. Then it was me. Then it was my wife, and my daughter has got her assessment.
Yeah.
Tomorrow,
I think.
My wife, she's a lister, and it's like, and I'm thinking, how can she have ADHD? It's like, and she's organised.
It's different traits, isn't it? Because you said you can read a book, but I can't read a book. You said your wife can make a list, but you can't make a list. And I'm OCD with time as well, and quite a lot of ADHD people are late. So it's people are different traits.
Yeah, I just think it's this blanket term, ADHD, autism. But like you say, well, that's why they call it spectrum, isn't it? It's like have you heard of what they called? Centre of Excellence? It's like a online training. And I did ADHD, understanding ADHD. But the irony of it is, I can't do it because it's so boring. It's like, honestly, it's so boring. It's I gave them feedback. I said, I don't know if you've written this course for the viewpoint of people who don't have ADHD, because that's what it feels to me. Because I've got ADHD and I want better understanding, but I can't get past how boring it is, how long and how dry it is.
Oh,
You know,
God.
because there are different types. There's the ADD, and then there's the AHD. You know, there's the
AD, yeah.
hyperactive. You know, but I can't tell you because I can't remember it.
Okay, so yeah, do you think that ADHD is very overwhelming, or do you think that, you know, it's just organized chaos, or
No,
it does make you
yes,
feel overwhelmed?
yeah, all of that. Before diagnosis, it was more overwhelming. It was, I just couldn't cope.
Mm.
You know, but I mean, I think I've done incredibly well because I haven't moved. I haven't when I'm doing an assessment at work. After 40 minutes, I'll say, do you smoke? Do you want to go and have a cigarette? And they think I'm doing it because I'm nice and I'm letting them go and have a cigarette. But I'm not, because I need to get away from that environment. I need to get up and move about.
Yeah.
You know, with counselling, it's like, I think they call it stimming, don't they?
Mm.
You know, I'm moving, fidget. I'm a fidget. I'm the worst fidget. You know, and at bed, when I'm trying to go to sleep, I've got my legs crossed and I'm like this.
Mm.
Yeah. Now that I find that overwhelming. I find that tiring. Kind of trying to discipline myself.
Yeah, but my main stim is my leg shaking. It's shaking at the moment. It's constantly going up and down, up and down. I stim quite a lot. I'm a fidgeter. I fidget with my wristbands. Anything that I can get a hold of is a stim, and it's not just it's ADHD. Autistic people do it as well. And I don't know if you've ever seen these bubble popping things that you get for the neurodiverse people. I mean, I'm addicted to them whenever I buy it because my son's autistic.
Right.
Whenever I buy them for my boy, I'm always playing with them. I think I play with them more than he does, to be fair.
Yeah. But they go hand in hand, don't they? They kind of say that you know, where there's autism, there's ADHD. Where there's ADHD, there's autism.
Yeah.
There's a woman at work, and she's ADHD, autism, and she's got this box full of bloody fidget toys. I had a conversation with her because I went up to her and said, "You are so organised for someone who's got bloody ADHD."
Yeah.
And she said, "I've just had to train myself. I've just worked at it and worked at it and worked at it, you know." And that makes me think if there has to be different types of ADHD, because no matter how I worked at it, I always feel that I'm disorganized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have Soph in our podcast as well.
Oh, great.
Yeah. She's going to be a great
amazing.
add-on. She is amazing. And she gave you the little bowls as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
The magnetic ones. And I was like, oh my God, I want one of those.
Yeah.
Because they're super cute.
Well, yeah, because I saw she had them at this meeting where you were doing your work, and I said, "Oh, let me play with your balls." So I'm having to play with the balls, and then I said, "I've got to get my own balls," but my balls were small. My balls were tiny, so I ended up giving them to my son. And then
so your son's got tinier balls than you. Is that what
so they're so Sophie, and she gave me her balls. She bought me a set of balls. Now and then, you know, and anything for a cheap laugh. But that's my coping mechanism.
Yeah,
I think that's a stim for me.
So somebody told me every single comedian that is around on stage at the moment, like Jimmy Carr and Ricky Gervais, any comedian that can get up on stage and make people laugh and just be silly, I think that they are somewhere on the spectrum. Honestly, I think autistic people. My son is 8 years old. He's probably
hilarious.
He's the funniest child I fucking know.
He's so funny.
And I think that anyone who can get up there and make people laugh in any sort of way has autism or ADHD. Majority of, and if they don't, then I'm surprised because I think that the ADHD and the autism community are fucking hilarious. Honestly, they make people laugh a lot. Even if it's just a coping mechanism, it doesn't really matter. They're still fucking hilarious.
Yeah. It's good because sorry, Mark, go ahead.
So I was going to say, because what you find as well, I think, with a lot of comedians is depression.
Yes.
Which always kind of, it always surprises me.
They're masking in a way, aren't they?
Yeah. It's like don't look at the real me. look at this me that I'm projecting. But that's a good point. I'm going to away from here. I'm going to give that some more thought.
Yeah. So moving on to therapy and motivational interview. So you are a trained motivational interviewing. How would you explain that in simple terms?
I think the reason I like it is because it's asking the client, what does it look like? What do you want? And how do you achieve it? You know, it's like, right. So for example, I don't know, someone was saying, I want to stop using because I want people to be proud of me. I said, well, what does pride look like to you? Because I have an idea of what pride is. But if I don't ask the client, then there's a chance that I'll think it's my definition.
Yeah.
You know,
You don't want to lead them on, do you, in a way?
No. You know, because there's the tendency sometimes to fall into that expert trap or the helper. That I know what's best, or this will help, and it might, but it might not. Just because we believe in something doesn't mean that it's going to work for someone else. So it's giving the client hopefully autonomy. Because if you rescue someone, what are you doing? You're not teaching them anything. You're saying that you'll do it for them.
Yeah.
I think that's what MI is. You're not the expert. The client is the expert. The client is the expert.
Now a question for both of you, because I guess that people that have ADHD, they get a lot of, oh, you should try harder, right? Oh, what is wrong with that approach?
I can try harder on certain days. I can come in and I can be motivated. I can work all the way from when I'm in all the way up to when I leave. And I wouldn't even pay attention to the clock. But then the next day I come into work because I've been so motivated the day before. I just can't motivate myself. I struggle. But I think the try harder thing also comes down to enjoying what you do. If you don't have anything that's interesting to you, you're not going to be trying hard at all. My kitchen sink at home is full of dishes. Do I want to do them? No.
Nope.
Do I want to try harder at doing them? No. Do they need doing eventually when I need a fucking plate?
I'm similar but different. So if you've got a broken arm, someone's not going to say to you, catch this ball, because you can't. But so when someone says try harder, they're not seeing or they're not accepting of, well, do you not think I want to try? You don't think I do want to, be normal or whatever? Big rows in our house will be, you've not tidied up. And it's like, well, we'll tidy up, but I'll do it
in my own time. Yeah.
When I've done everything that doesn't need to be done first. And I think you've got to try and get the balance, but sometimes it's hard because you don't see things that other people see. I don't see it, and if I'm being honest, I don't care about it.
Yeah. Now I'm going to touch a little bit on your personal life. What helped the most personally?
Medication, being indoctrinated by my wife, and music. I'm a DJ as well in my part time.
Okay.
But what I love most about DJing is I can be in a room full of people, but I don't have to interact with any of them.
That makes sense.
I've got an excuse. It's like they'll come over and they'll start talking. I'll go, oh, mate, I'm sorry, I've just got to concentrate on this.
I'm not a people person either, to be fair.
I'm not. I'm not. I hate people.
If I'm walking down the street and I see somebody walking towards me and it's just me and them on a path, and first thing that comes to my mind is, oh, fuck, are they going to say hello to me? I don't really want them saying hello. What do I do if they say hello? Do I just give them a nod? Do I have to say hello back? Do I ignore them? Do I give them eye contact? I don't really want to give them eye contact because if I give them eye contact, they're going to talk to me anyway. And all of this is going through my head as they're coming towards me.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you're like, but that's how much of a people person I am.
Well, I mean, if I see someone first, then there's every chance that they won't see me, because if I know that I've seen that person first, I'll turn around. I've been in the supermarket. I'll give you an example. I had a counselling client, and I'd seen him for a session, and he's a nice guy. He's all right. And then I nipped out to the supermarket, and I saw him, and the normal thing would have been to go, hey, yeah, you're right. I just avoided him. I just went, I just completely
Do
avoided
the
him.
same thing.
How to be awkward?
No. It's because I can't bare small talk.
Yeah, I
Oh,
hate it.
yeah.
It's like,
Honestly, it drives me absolutely fucking mental.
I'd rather,
The weather's nice, isn't it?
yeah, no, is it shit? Fuck off.
What are you buying?
So you said you're a DJ in your
Mhm.
in your part time. So we'll bring into the music side of this podcast. Because for me, I struggle sleeping with ADHD, and I often lay awake in bed for hours, and then sometimes I would also lay in bed and I would listen to music, and it would help with my overthinking. How does music help with your mind being a DJ and having ADHD? Do you find it helps calm your mind down?
It does, yeah, it helps to distract me because it takes me away from my own mind. Like if I take the dogs out, I can't do it without
Headphones.
having
Yeah.
music or someone talking. You know, and music is better than talking because I'll put a podcast on and then I'll get distracted.
Yeah. It's like an audiobook.
Yeah, and I have to go back, because of whereas with the song, I mean, and I just sing along,
Yeah. It's a good distraction, isn't it? And if I'm, for example, if the past few years for me, my mind has been on constant ticking. It's been a constant whir. It's been a constant spiral. And the only way of getting out of that constant spiral without any medication for me has been just heavy music in my case, because I do like the heavier sort of music. Music itself is its own, it's a therapy to people, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I find that it's a mind quieter, especially for neurodiverse people. And I've said before on podcast that I think there's a correlation between music and neurodiverse people. And I think that's the reason why you see many people with autism. Well, I was about to say many people with autism wearing headphones, but I think that's probably the reason, because they're only wearing that to drown out the noise. But maybe some of them are actually wearing it to actually listen to music and help drown out the noise at the same time.
Yeah, I think music's been like constant throughout my life, and I didn't think of it at the time, but then post diagnosis, it was like, oh, well, maybe that kind of was what helped me, kind of kept me. It was something to kind of help me relax, help me deal with stress, help me not think, really.
You mentioned your favorite band is Queens of Stone Age, right? So how Queens of Stone Age helps you with the tabs? Just a distraction, or do you actually listen to the strings? Because us metalheads, we're very into, oh my God, listen to that drum. Look what he's doing with the drum.
Yeah.
Oh my God, look at the guitar and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
there's different sections of the music that will help.
Yeah. Because Queens of Stone Age is quite rocky anyway, isn't it? It's not metal, but it's quite alternative / rock, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what you class. I don't know what metal is. You know what I mean? It's like metal, not heavy metal, and heavy metal was coined for like Black Sabbath because it was an industrial city.
Birmingham.
So
okay, because Birmingham. Yeah. I see where they're coming from there. Okay.
There's a guy at work who's into, what's it called? Screamo.
Yeah.
Right now, I mean, but and he told me about it, and then I was going to see another band with another mate, and we walked past this pub, and I said, "Oh, that sounds like Screamo." And he's like, "What's that?" And I told him, and we went in, and they were brilliant. Then I don't know if you've heard of a band called the Mars Volta.
I do.
It's like, so that's like that's metal, but it's prog.
It's prog, yeah. I like progressive stuff as well. Yeah.
It's that to say metal, there is no definitive. Well, this is a metal band. You can't. I don't think you can pigeonhole.
No. Like a Sleep Token, we were talking about this yesterday. Sleep Token, it's a band that can mix all sorts of, like you have jazz, you have hip hop, you have like the metal bits of it, the screams, and all in one song, and they make it work, and it's just amazing. You're just like, my God, I have all those emotions that comes with each kind of music in one song. And you're like, oh my God, it's like a roller coaster. It's amazing. It's, yeah. Music
it's like
very big.
can a metal band but do a ballad,
Yes, they can.
You think, well, exactly, but you think by definition, no, they can't, because it's not loud. It's not, the amp isn't set to 11.
Yeah.
I'm reading this again. Have you ever read this?
The Motley Crue.
Not read it. We were talking
film.
about the documentary.
No, it's not a documentary. It's a film.
Well, yeah, film. It's a film based on,
See, and it's all spandex and
it used to be. It's not anymore.
No, hairspray hair, look,
I love it.
They called it glam rock, didn't they?
Yeah, glam rock.
Yeah, but then glam rock itself goes back to the 70s. The Sweet and stuff like that, where you had men,
looking like women
with skirt, looking like women,
Yeah, but it's cool.
I remember Pete Burns, Dead or Alive.
Yeah.
He said he was watching Top of the Pops and David Bowie was on it, and he said people didn't know whether to fight him or fuck him, and it's like, that's so good.
It's so good,
yeah.
Okay, so to close it down, if someone is listening to this and feels like their life is just chaos, what would you say to them? Or let's go back to young Mark with his crazy ADHD symptoms. What would you say to young Mark or to anyone that is listening to us?
I don't know, because like I say, everyone's different, but if it's making you unhappy, and if you think that it's stopping you from living your best life, or you think, then get it sorted. Whether you're 21 or late 40s like I was.
Yeah.
And I did kind of put it off, and maybe now on reflection, I should have done it earlier, because I thought, well, I've lived with it for this long, I can continue to do it. But the medication really helped me.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Guys, I had so much fun. Yeah. Thank you, Mark. Really, really appreciate you being here with us.
Oh, no problem. Yeah. I need to go and have a walk now, though, because I've been sat still for so long. I'm like...
And at least we didn't talk over each other a lot, Mark. With both our ADHDs, at least we didn't continuously interrupt each other.
Yeah.
So
I was interrupting Mark.
Isn't it?
He was interrupting me.
Okay, well, fellow overthinkers, neurodiverse people, and metalheads alike, this has been Breakdowns and Breakthroughs. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mary. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers, guys. Turn it off. Let's talk. We'll talk later. Bye-bye.
Bye.